Hounds versus Star from the Bottom game. Best of 3 for the Jordan Dota League, season number 2. We start second pick as per usual. My name is DSwordfish. I'll be your caster for today. Hope you enjoy my cast. Let's get right into it. Hellhounds start out with a Chen and the Beastmaster already showing off that they do want to get some of that pushing power in. Both heroes very adept at doing that, in addition to having a couple stuns that actually go through BKB, either with the Chen creeps, the Satyr, a very common creep taken by the Chen, or of course the Primal Roar. So it means that traditional BKB carries not so strong, and the rest of Hellhounds could actually orient themselves in a much more magical damage way, which is, I don't think, their actual goal, if I'm honest. Usually when you draft these two heroes, it's more for the pushing power, but it's a little addendum you always need to take into consideration for the Chen and the Beastmaster. As for start from the bottom, they go for much more lane dominating heroes. In fact, two high damage over time heroes in the form of a Doom and a Witch Doctor. Maledict plus Inferno Blade is a deadly combo. Scorched Earth ensures that Maledict also deals a fair amount of damage, in addition to giving extra vision over a target that you hope to kill. So overall, I actually quite like Star from the bottom and Hellhound's draft. I don't think either looks that much better. I do have a preference in the Doom Witch Doctor over Chen Beastmaster, simply because, well, they can both counter creep wielding heroes, either with Paralyzing Cask, which takes advantage of Beastmaster's like playstyle, or Chen's as well, right? So the Paralyzing Cask is very strong there, but the Devour as well can take out a pesky creep. That might be annoying either or of them. In addition to, of course, having the physical and magical damage split that I so very much enjoy with the form of the Maledict, Death Ward, and of course the Doom as a hero as a whole. And the Doom, of course, can also stop Primal Roar with a timely Doom, so you don't have to go for Lincolns necessarily, as long as your Doom has good initiation. So actually, upon further consideration, I'm going to lean slightly more towards the start from the bottom draft. I think Hellhounds is closing themselves a bit too much, and I did see the Chen yesterday. It worked out nicely for them, but I am not so confident in this hero in the current meta. Though he serves an important, power in the laning stage, once people started realizing how annoying that Panther's build was, once people started getting the Majestic against him, once people started essentially, well, realizing how to play against that, the Chen lost a bit of its popularity. And thank you, Nev Sensei, more than anything for pointing that out. I apologize. Again, the Twitch delay makes it very annoying. The Super Mayor is going to be casted in BTSS, for those of you wondering. Para los que estés preguntando si la Super Mayor estaremos casteando en BTSS, obviamente no estaré yo, obviamente estarán otros esta noche, pero yo estaré para la Joint League. Quizá me vendré alguna partida de Super Major, pero no estoy como host principal toda la noche, estaré en Imperius en teoría. Alright, sorry about that little thing. I guess in Spanish for a major studio, so I like sometimes I'll pause just to address the viewers so they don't feel ostracized. Let's see what the Hellhounds picks up for the third pick. Chen and Beastmaster. I mean, Death Prophet obviously a really good pick here. That goes with him. Shadow Shaman as well. Oh, Shadow Shaman is a surprising pick. I was actually not expecting that Shadow Shaman. Now I realize well that was playing the whole time. I had the sound muted for the computer, so I could not hear myself, so I do apologize for that as well. Hopefully that doesn't annoy you guys too much. Yeah. Or didn't annoy you guys too much. So, starting from the bottom, here it's going to be the Doom Witch Doctor choice. And against the Shadow Shaman now for Hellhounds, which is clearly a pushing lineup. So, what other things can we see for the Hellhounds lineup? Again, the Death Prophet does sound good. DK as well is one of the more stable mid laners. The DK with the Corrosive Breath, it actually adds a bit of pushing power, in addition to Death Prophet with her Exorcism. So either or really works out, but DK is a bit more of a stable pick against the Doom, right? You don't need to go for the immediate Lincolns, which is something that really screws over the DP item progression. She usually excels with just one item, that being Yule Scepter, and the fact they have to get Lincolns to actually become powerful against a Doom puts you in a bit of a pickle. So start from the bottom actually closed a lot of lineup Hellhounds might want to go for, and I kind of like that. Hellhounds, of course, still have the Lycan available, which I'm a bit worried about. And start from the bottom, pick up the Tusk, a way to deal with the Shadow Shaman, both to deal with the Shackles and, of course, to stun him out himself. He kind of deals with the Chen creeps to some degree, but he is able to blow up the Chen relatively easily, especially now since the strength gain for supports has been lowered. Tusk can take advantage of this with a critical hit. And the Tusk Witch Doctor combination is a classic. Tusk's attack animation is actually super smooth, which is an odd thing to say, but it works really nicely with Orb Venom. It just hits constantly. 51, I think there's 51 base attack damage on the Tusk. It's not bad with a Witch Doctor's Maledict, and he does have a lot of I guess, low damage but high control spells in the early game, meaning they benefit greatly from the Maledict, as they can pile on damage over time, and the Maledict eventually finishes them off, which is fantastic, exactly what you want to do. Burst damage and Maledict, of course, work better, but if, at least having one support that can provide the damage is really useful there. And as explained, Hounds will go for the Death Prophet. I was honestly expecting the DK because of the Doom, really. Just the DK because of the Doom. But I also totally understand the Death Prophet pickup. It's a pushing lineup. What else is there to say? The last pick here being the Lycan seems almost too obvious. I think you may be putting too many eggs in one basket. Maybe Started from the Bottom wants to pick up the Lycan or an anti-Lycan. Honestly, they could run... I mean, now I guess they're closed off. They could have run the Batrider in the offlane. Better than the Doom against the Lycan, to be honest. But it's not like Doom is bad against Lycan either. Now, you still have the mid lane and the carry lane for Started from the Bottom. What could they run? Something with burst damage is ideal for both against Death Prophet and Lycan. I actually personally like the Zoo Squad a lot. A hero that I think in the new patch got a considerable buff. So they could definitely consider that. Also works nicely against Death Prophet because he stays away from the sucky. The Queen of Pain is also another consideration for a bit of burst damage. That does especially well against the Death Prophet. Mainly because, obviously, you have the Blink to break away the Spirit Siphon. So those two, Zeus Squat, probably the two heroes I'd consider. I'll start from the bottom. You could go for the DK. You could go for the DK, perhaps, in the choice of, I guess, a simple carry, but I'm just not the big fan of a DK. But that always works out. You get limited the Beastmaster quickly, you're able to kill the Shadow Shaman as well. Lifestealer is the choice. Okay. Alright, actually not that big of a fan of the Lifestealer, if I'm honest. Not that big of a fan of the Lifestealer. What to say, I mean, you're fighting against a team, in this case Hellhounds, who has, like I said, the BKB control, the Beastmaster and the Chen. You have a lot of physical damage in the form of Death Prophet, Shadow Shaman's auto attack, Beastmaster and his axes, and Shadow Shaman and his and the Shadow Shaman's wards. And you have an insta stun, which is perfect against Lifestealer because it can stop his insta cast range, right? So the Hex can actually really hurt him there. In addition to a silence that can be topped upon that, and then shackles on top of that. Yeah, I don't really love this Lifestealer, if I'm honest. I mean, he has a vehicle in the form of Tusk and has a bit of synergy with the Doom as well, but I think he's actually rather weak. If that was a counter to the potential Lycan, I don't think it's the best pickup here. Lena has the second one. That's okay against Death Prophet. She does offer a bit of burst damage, which is exactly what I would go for anyway. I still think the Quap or the Zeus would have been better options than Lena, to be perfectly honest, because Lena bases herself a bit on the movement speed. And movement speed, of course, is something that Death Prophet can take away from you. Similarly, Chen can gank you and, again, stun you. You're relatively vulnerable to stuns. To ganks. A bit more than the Quap will. But she should be able to win the lane against Death Prophet, so I'm not particularly fussed with the Lena pick. I think it's an overall good strategy. It's just the Lifestealer doesn't really fit anywhere. I find perhaps maybe the lack of versatility in the carry that might have led to this pick. You might not have been comfortable with something else that could deal with the Death Prophet a bit better. I mean, is there really a hero that could deal with the Death Prophet a bit better? I guess you... Ursa, actually, would have been a pretty decent hero here. There's a Lycan. Easy prediction, right? Like, when you see a pushing a lineup, it's pretty obvious what they're going to go for. So, frankly, I would have liked the Ursa a bit more than the Lifestealer. If you're going to go for that kind of idea of, like, bursting and killing the Lycan as soon as possible. It does seem like it's supposed to be a counter to the Lycan. I just don't see that much of a synergy with the Lifestealer. Perhaps, I'm thinking of better heroes, to be honest, and it's not like there's many. The Luna would have also been quite nice, though natural BKB carrier puts her at risk. The Gyrocopter was banned. They're not the best of options, so I guess it's also a bit of a hard pickup call to make. Lifestealer will sustain himself in lane. It's not too screwed over by the Brewmaster or Beastmaster. I think here's something unconventional, a la Ursa or Slark would have worked best, probably. The Slug also does bring some burst damage to the table and didn't have much area damage, and he's not too bothered by the Primal Roar or even the Shadow Shaman, because the only thing you can really stop the Slark with is the Hex, and, well, that's the same issue as the Lifestealer, right? So it's not like it would have been particularly worse. Alright, let's put the assisted camera. Boom. Banzai no, estaré gastando Super Mage, al menos hoy no. Mañana. Bueno, quizá me uno luego a Imperius, pero hoy no estaré casteando. Estoy casteando Joint League. Así que un respeto, por favor, y gracias, y dejen de preguntar. Un placer para los amigos españoles que están aquí. Vamos a darle un respeto a los equipos de Joint League. Alright, guys, so I'm just addressing my Spanish viewers because they come here asking, you know, are you going to cast a Super Major? Are you going to cast a Super Major? And I am not going to today. I know it seems weird, but I want to cast some Joint League Division 2. It's been a while since I cast some, I guess, lower tiers of Dota, and I miss it. I love watching these kind of leagues. I was a big fan of Joint Dota League, mainly because I get to watch teams that are up and coming. You know, I like knowing what's going to happen in the scene in the relative future. And I also promised to cast this game, and I think these guys deserve some coverage. So that's another good point to be made. Right, let's look at the teams once the pause menu is off. For now, I'm just gonna say that the push lineup may or may not work. It really does depend on execution a lot. Pushing lineup is one of those all-in strategies that is, if Potom can stop it, then they're in a good position. As long as they can stop the snowball, they're fine. There's not much complexity to it, really. Just make sure you don't get destroyed in lanes and attempt to stop them from taking a lot of early towers. I'd say Potom strategy is actually a bit more complex, but their winning conditions also relatively simple, which is the mid game. They went for a mid game draft to try to stop the push, and it was the right idea, at least in terms of item timings and everything. They'll mostly pick around minute 25 to 30, which is perfect against the pushing lineup who aims to win the game at around that time, right? Let's put some of the teams real quick. We're going to start with Hellhounds first. And it's going to be Hellhounds here. Kane on the Shadow Shaman in the support position. The carry is going to be Rolf here on the Lycan. In the mid lane, Burn is going to be playing that Death Prophet as the offlaner. Samurai Nyux on the Beastmaster. Interesting, this guy's new. And the second support is going to be Doggo as the Chim. For the guys that started from the bottom, Shadow is going to be on the Tusk in the support position. Second support being the Witch Doctor here, played by Keelan, as Dentrick as the Lifestealer in the carry position. The Doom, actually in the bottom lane, played by Jay, and he's already getting the first blood onto Kane. The rune taken his way, taken away as well. And Chobo manages to get the first blood, who's actually playing the Lina. And I think I'm missing one more person, and that should be Shadow on... Shadow on the Tusk, which I think I've not presented yet. That was a weird presentation because it got mixed in with the first blood. But you guys saw the first blood. I'm satisfied with that. That's all. That's all that matters. Now, is open wounds available? Yes, it could be, but without feast, the damage shouldn't be sufficient to kill him, so they're not gonna risk that level 1 open wounds. As a lifestealer recently, we've seen much of a deterrence of the level 1 open wounds that used to be so popular. Before it was level 1 open wounds no matter what, if you remember in like Tier 3 era, you know, because he played lifestealer relatively aggressively, took advantage of his really high early attack damage. But now with the loss of armor, which he got recently with the strength carry, or the strength update, I suppose. Let's call it that. The dreaded strength update. And you know, a bunch of nerfs to the hero, or not nerfs really, buffs to other carries. He plays with the feast much more often to take advantage of his lane sustain, as opposed to taking advantage to his aggressive demeanor. And, of course, it is also the meta of lane sustain, right? Which is why feast has taken a bit of prevalence. Currently, the IO is so strong in the meta because, you know, you want to bring a lot of regen items and whatnot to the lane. You want to make sure that your carry always has enough HP in the lane so you can continue last hitting, take some most advantage of it. That's how you play. That's why dual lanes are so effective nowadays. That's why IO is so effective. It's Warlock, among other heroes. So the Feast is actually very valuable for that very reason. And Open Wounds can even provide the sustain to some degree against a Beastmaster that's playing a bit aggressively. So, the Lifestealer, I actually kind of like the pick in general in the meta. I really like CM. The only issue is I don't think he works well this draft. And in this top lane, he's actually being well, quite harassed by the Beastmaster, has about the same last as he does. In the bottom lane, they actually get a kill onto the Doom, who played really aggressively, getting punished for it. I think they actually went for the Shadow Shaman there, and they managed to punish him. So while I was watching this lane, I was thinking, there's not going to be any aggression bottom. They're a Tusk and a Doom. I don't really expect them to go in against the Lycan, because it's a bit suicidal right now, and they do. And of course, that was suicide. It's a bit of a mixed bag of emotions here. And you don't really want to give any kills to this Lycan. Interesting choice, by the way, to go for the Hex first as opposed to the Shackles. In the middle lane, we also see a Tusk rotating in, and they do get the kill with the Haste Rune, thanks to Chobo onto Burn. And again, another kill that they just dive the tower, get the Light Strike Array, and finish it off. And here, in the top lane, who we're watching consistently, finally, I think we're going to get... Oh, no, he's just actually going to be teleported back. Interesting choice as they go for Keen. All right. They could actually play that aggressively, but they chose not to. And now Doggo the aggression. In this middle lane, the Death Prophet actually lost the lane by quite a lot already. 3 lasted difference, which is considerable minute 3. And, well, I mean, it just shows dominance, right, by the Lina. And the Lina is actually forced to blow back home. Now, Doggo in the top lane. Gonna go down to the Maldic, most likely. As Keelan dies to the Beastmaster. In fact, the Maldic's only level 1, so it's actually not going to kill the Chen. But the Beastmaster does get a kill on the simple support. That's a support for nothing. Doggo very happy about that as he continues to harass him with a creep. And Beastmaster starting to take a bit of domination in this lane. We're seeing Hellhounds take a considerable advantage against the Lifestealer now in the top lane. So they have to rotate some help. And that help is going to be in the form of the Tusk. The Snowball, nice stun though, stopping the Lifestealer, but the Ice Shards keep Samurai in place. Passing cast bounces back to him. No, it will not. Samurai is quite lucky there. Tries to fight the Lifestealer head on, but realizes 3 people is just too much for a Beastmaster to deal with. Samurai will go down, and the Lifestealer will actually get the last hit at Zantique. Quite happy about that. As in the bottom lane, they've actually left the Doom alone, but so the Lycan. As Shadow Shaman tries to get some levels through a pull. It might work out for him, sure, but it also might curse the Lycan, who's been left alone there against the Doom a bit, and that's not really nice. I mean, he's actually matched by the Lifestealer in terms of last hits, something that, judging by the game, should really not be happening. Sorry. I just heard Shackles, which I think were, yeah. That was weird. They're going to find Keelan. There's initiation. Thwarted by the Hex. Keelan has to use the Paralyzing Cast. Last Striker actually hits. That Witch Doctor will die first, but Burn, can he die second? They're trying their best. The Mountain actually taking down the Test of Faith. Will save him thanks to the high ground miss. And Shadow is actually going to be the next target of aggression for the guys at Hellhounds. Luckily, they can't actually find him either. The damage is not sufficient on either side, but they do lose the Witch Doctor for absolutely nothing. As Burn is able to go back home thanks to that beautiful Test of Faith. Or rather, actually, it's called Holy Persuasion now, I suppose, because, yeah, I keep confusing it, sorry, my bad. It used to be the old ability, Test of Faith. Anyway, the point being, Lina's gone, Maldic level 1 sucks, and that high ground miss really screws them over. Bounty Rune missed here as well, that's not too great. Penitence to slow him down. Samurai definitely wants his kill. There's a snowball, trying to get some space between them. Lina joins in, Samurai realizes his mistake, and even though the stun comes in, Lina manages to destroy him. Doggo will be the next target of aggression. There's no Holy Persuasion to save him today, as he is the goddamn champ, so of course he can't Holy Persuade himself. So that's going to be 2 death in favor of start from the bottom. And now next is not the game of the Lobitos, as Lobitos is not playing this league. I am sorry to say. Jay, do they have a Shackles? They could have actually gone for him with the Wolves, but decided not to. Shapeshift, sorry, it's Shapeshift, is Wolves level 2, going for a 2-1-2 build with that 2 levels of Feral Impulse for the extra regen. Very typical to see this day, where you spread the points around Lycan, knowing you need a bit of regen for the Feral Impulse, but not really more than 3. It's just getting like a Ring of Regen, essentially. A free Ring of Regen, plus a bit of damage, which is not bad, actually. Meanwhile, Death Prophet definitely is the target they want again, obviously trying to secure this lane further for the Lina. Lina's actually starting to lose the lane as Death Prophet gains some levels, but in the top lane, Samurai seems like an easier kill for now. Using the Maldic up to him, Samurai will fight to the death under these Ice Shards, which will end up being his cold, icy grave. And with that, at Zantique, his Phase Boots ready, gonna go straight for the armlet, is winning the last war against this Lycan, and is able to actually get some extra assets thanks to the creeps provided him by the Chen. Meanwhile, the Lina is actually also winning that Networth war against the Death Prophet, taking advantage of those kills that she got. So started from the bottom already with a bit of an advantage against Hellhounds and putting the Brazilian team against the ropes. I mean, 2k difference -7. Of course, it's not an unsurmountable difference, but it is considerable. And those bounties, I think, have contributed a considerable amount. The first bounties, 3 are taken by start from the bottom. The second bounties, it's 3. Oh, no, it's only 2, actually, taken by them. But still, the fact that they are able to do those things in addition to getting the rotations, not wasting too much time, they're just playing a bit better. And even if I wasn't too convinced by their draft, and still I'm not, I think they're managing to play, especially this mid-lane matchup, a bit better, and they also understand their timings quite well. Using that tusk to delay that mid-game from the enemy team by forcing them into unfavorable lane matchups was a really smart idea. And of course, crushing Burn here is going to be great as well. Burn barely has any mana, has enough for just one more sucky. Oh, Laguna Plate stops that right in his tracks. Lester creates the Shadow Shaman, that's 2 dead. And Samurai fighting under his tower realizes this now might be the safe space. The Rock does ensure the kill onto the Witch Doctor. However, Samurai could still be killed off here. The Tusk wants to join in. Where are the reinforcements? They're not coming by. Start from the bottom and decide to leave these 2 vagrants alone. And now the Tusk reinitiates. Doggo is dead. The creeps behind a wall. And they just can't save their master. The guys that started from the bottom managed to get 2 kills for the price of a simple Witch Doctor, who by now has settled in the role of sacrificial lamb. Very happy to give his life and his head for some space, some gold, or in this case, some favorable kill matchups. And now, Rolf in the bottom lane, going to be harassed by Tusk, who comes in with a haste. They have the Doom, they stop the shapeshift. Rolf was not expecting the sudden bout of aggression, and the Lycan has to try to hide in the trees, in the woods, but they can find him. Passing Cask hits, and Doom ensures the kill with one swift blade to the neck. Specifically, the back of the neck. So Lycan, right now, could have perfectly been a Titan from Shinjuku no Kyojin. Who knows? Right now, the guys have started from the bottom, ensure to take down this Titan / Lycan, which, by the way, rhymes. Is that a coincidence? Clearly conspiracy. And in the top lane, this Lifestealer wants some blood, concretely Samurai's blood. The Primal Roar is ready, so he's probably not going to go down, but he does harass him sufficiently to stay out of this lane, ensuring to now mark his territory by spreading blood all over it. In the middle lane, meanwhile, they do the exact same thing as they spread Bird's blood all over their territory, and don't allow this Death Prophet to farm any further. Let's see in the top lane what Hounds is planning on doing. They do have 3 heroes around here, but they're also going to be harassed, or I guess ganked now by starting from the bottom. You have a Lifestealer, still no Armlet, or Infest. So this might be a dangerous proposition. The Lina does not have a TP either. They're trying to defend this tower without committing too many resources, apparently. But now we see a 4th member joining in. It's a Death Prophet, Exorcism at the ready. Now, do they know that Lina has no TP? Will they take advantage of this fact? They should know, actually, yep. And then the Lina now just got her TP in her inventory. They should just be seeing this and acknowledge that Lina is now a threat. They don't want to fight near the tower. Doggo being harassed slightly by this Tusk. Hit by the Penitents. The creeps are joining in. And they got to kill at least one of the creeps. The Infest is ready for the Satyr at the very least. Primal Roar as well. They want to set up the kill on this Lifestealer. Those neutral creeps are actually not helping whatsoever. As in the top lane, they've left the poor Witch Doctor alone. He has no pausing cast. Has to TP back home. Can they stop his TP? They can't. Keela makes it back as they sacrifice the tower. But nobody's life in the process. So, it's going to be one of those little situations where, yes, you can destroy as much property as you need, but you will not be destroying the lives of my players, whom I still value very importantly. But in the middle lane, sorry, they actually managed to get a tower trade. As the Ghosts take down a tier 1, but they do the same with the tier 1 in the mid lane. Apparently, Doom was doing something like that in the bottom lane, but it didn't really work out here in the mid lane, though. The Shadow Shaman comes in to his suicide. Typical Shadow Shaman, not acknowledging the pain that he's going to be in. And with this, Lina manages to take the last hit for that tower as the tier 2 falls for this pushing lineup. No surprise there, pushing lineup seems to have a lot of, pushing power. They knew what they were doing. In the bottom lane, we're going to see that Doom has been left to his own devices for a while. Let's see what his farm is looking like. Not bad. Devour's only level 1, and actually Lycan can't even come close to him at this point. With those drums, he actually has enough mana for most things, in addition to having a good tanky HP pool. And Lycan can just not eat through. It's important. You know, the 2 armor puts him at a disadvantage against Lycan in general, so it's good to at least tank up in other measures. I know, we see... Was that a snowball for a second? No, no snow. Saw for a second, I was like, wait, was that a... Just to get the creeps out. There's the Lina plus the Doom, who start hitting this tower down. A lot of attacks from this Lina. As we also see nearby, a smoked up Beastmaster. He's trying to get initiation off, but the Lina's going to run away, so that's the juiciest target. They're going to leave the Doom alone. The Snowball should detect the smoke passing. Cass comes out. They stay here a bit too long. They do fight against Beastmaster, who's going to be sent back. He's not going to die here, but Doom went to investigate and suffers as a result. Scorched Earth keeps him healthy, but not for too long, as the Lycan deals way too much damage to a Doom without any armor. He has to try to finish up that buckler, you know, to get the... Don't lose that much gold, but... I think he died before he even bought that, so it didn't really work out for him at all. He tried, though. And with this, in the bottom lane, they're going to manage to take a tower down. With the Exorcism, it should be an easy kill. Lifestruck array from the Lina, only to push away those creeps. As the Exorcism from the Death Prophet, careful though, burn. Going to be hit by the Snowball. Exorcism is still available. Lifestruck array does hit her. Laguna Blade, they do burst her down, but they send her back with a test of faith. And now, the Walrus Punch, stopping the shackles. It's going to be Sacrificial Lamb of Cain. Never better name for that. But... sadly, it's not going to be the Death Prophet's death, which is exactly what they were looking for there. At least they managed to defend the tier 1 tower, and they don't waste too many resources in the process, of course. You know, just rotating the mid laner, but still keeping Lifestealer farming. Let's see if they can at least take another tower in the process. A bit difficult. Armlet of Morrigan still not finished for Lifestealer, still trying to finish up that Sanjin Yasha, which will also help him pursue the Beastmaster with a bit more movement speed. The Dire Tower down bottom will follow. Chobo is quite happy about this. And they will now found Kayn. Who the Snowball will certainly hit Kayn. Ice Shards as well, stopping him in his tracks. There's a Maledict. Goodbye, Kayn. That was really quick. As Burn suffers the same amount of damage from the Lifestealer. He's also going to be brought down. Super good by bottom. Start from the bottom. As 14 minutes in, they're already winning by 8k lead. Absolute dominance over Hellhounds. They seem to know exactly what they're doing. Execution top. And they are not letting the pushing team push, which is exactly what they should be doing. That Lifestealer is working wonders by using him as a burst damage dealer and taking out Lycan and Death Prophet before they can actually arm themselves. Death Prophet decided to go for a very weird mixed build here with the Hood of Defiance, but being destroyed so much by the Lina makes it hard for her to recover. And similarly, she does not decide to go for a cheap Death Prophet build in the form of a Medallion, which might actually really help against the Lifestealer. The itemization for these guys is actually not really guided towards the Lifestealer at all as a pick. They seem to just kind of ignore them. And this is an issue. You need a bit more of that, what should we call it? I guess creative. And now Doggo, gonna be the next target. There's the Walrus Punch. Snowball hits Maledict as well. Death Ward, and I think Doggo's gone. Oh, goodbye, Doggo. Mr. Chen got poisoned, and he couldn't ever stand the chance. But you know, that was actually quite an easy kill. So, what can you say? The Chen at this point is just kind of trying to scout his best way to get his team back into the game. But 9k lead is looking really bad, especially with the team that's trying to put that pressure onto you, not let you lead. This lead is actually going for a Bloodstone, something I have not seen in a really, really long time. A Bloodstone. Wow, on a Lina. I mean, that is domination. There's a reason, I'm going to talk about it in a second. Lifestruck array, goodbye. Shadow Shaman, no chance. There's a reason the Bloodstone is not picked up on Lina anymore, and that's mainly because with the loss of the value in creeps and mega creeps, and obviously stacks costing less now for whoever takes the stacks, and the fact that the game is a bit faster and you go for more kills, etc., etc. Usually Bloodstone is a much riskier item, or you don't get it at all. It's a much slower start. Actually, wait, Doom in the bottom lane could go down. Do they get the stun out? No, they don't. So they should be fine for the Wolves. They actually killed both Wolves. Nice job. Good paralyzing cast there. So the Bloodstone is not picked up anymore because it's too slow of an item. Even the Storm, the traditional Bloodstone picker, does not pick it up anymore. I mean, you've seen Bloodstone still on some heroes like the Leshrac, for example, whenever he is played in the mid or even carry position. Still sometimes run a Bloodstone. But the Lina especially, a hero that's now meant to be played like when it comes online, as soon as it comes online, right? try to minimize the time that it's downtime per se, rarely gets a Bloodstone. So this choice demonstrates how much domination they have in this game. The fact that they can get a Bloodstone so early, not be too worried about the fact that they might be too slow, shows that they just have, they managed to control the enemy team in team fights. Not too worried about Alina's actual help in the team fights because she doesn't need anything. Doesn't even need Yosef. Just going to go for the traditional Illidan build with that Shadow Blade straight up. This is a really crazy initiation though by Potom. Potom is going in haphazardly and they're very confident. I know they should be. The Death System has had to run out. Death Ward into Death Prophet. She actually heals back up. Test of Faith saves her life as Cade is unable to do anything either in the backlines. He sacrifices himself together with Shadow. Both of these supports creating space for their respective teams. However, in this situation, seems like Shadow's death was unnecessary. It does. I mean, he just kind of went in with the snowball, hoping to get a kill or two, but it didn't really work out because there was just no need to do that whatsoever. But oh well, no big deal. Vanguard finish on Doom, that's pretty good. Lifestealer, meanwhile, is already finished. Santi Josh is going to go for Des later. So a lot of weird hybrid builds. Like I haven't seen these in a while in competitive. I don't know if this is a thing of the tier 2 scene or if I'm just really not seeing a Lifestealer or these guys are just really creative people, or I guess uncreative because they're going for older builds. Desolator, physical damage Lifestealer is a pretty old build nowadays. Not really picked up anymore. For the reasons that, well, Lifestealer, like I said, is played more for the sustained lane. He's meant to get a good sustain and then snowball from there, so the range Lifestealer is taking a lot of predominance. But even over that, the mid-game Lifestealer of Armlet Sanyasha, also relatively calm, asset 50-50 scenario, does not run this later anymore, it being more of a, well, early game snowball item, right? But in this situation, he's going to try to make it work. It's quite good against Slimekin, who actually has a really nice base armor, but sucks afterwards. Only getting 1 agility per level means it takes, I think it's 6 levels. I believe it's 6 levels to get, sorry, 7 levels to get a new pointed armor, so Desolator actually crushes him. I'd be a bigger fan of Assault Cuirass if I'm honest this game, or Lifestealer over the Desolator. But you can utilize the pushing power, and since you're peaking by so much, it doesn't really matter as much. It also allows you to go for this build like the Shadow Blade on Lena, which is particularly fantastic. And the Silver Edge is actually not that bad against a Lycan, who relies a lot on that Feral Impulse to deal damage and get the extra HP region. So Lycan stops being as dangerous when he loses that 48%. Like, you have to consider that Feral Impulse gives him at least 50%, more or less around the 50% increase in damage. And that comes, obviously, to him and his units, but mainly, like, the big, obviously, drawback is or I guess the big takeaway is him, right? He wants to take that damage and make use of it. And that's why he goes for a lot of strength items in general. That's why I like and enjoy stats. You know, like Kevin's Halberd, BKB, those small stats in Necronomicon, he takes a lot of advantage of them because Feral Impulse makes them much more useful, of course. That's why Lycans can still go for Heart, among other things. And, of course, using the Silver Edge and taking away that damage makes it so a 1v1 fight against him, or even if he's chasing you down with a Shapeshift, might have very different outcomes. So, I actually quite like this on the Lena. I'm also a big fan of Illidan, so there's also that little point to be made. Now, they're at least utilizing this pushing power correctly to, I guess, you wouldn't really call this Rat Dodo, kind of Death Ball push enemy team. But now, the Doom comes out, they're ready to counterattack. Death Prophet's already gone, Hand of God does not save her. Of course not. Maledict catches, and Lester Gray catches the Chen, and they even have some free Serp rewards to clear. And here's the issue with this pushing strategy. This pushing strategy should be able to win team fights taking advantage of the exorcism. If your hopes is that the enemy team started from the bottom just doesn't notice that you're pushing, you're going to be put in a pickle for a while for no reason. Like, seriously, you shouldn't be in a situation where you're trying to desperately push a building before the enemy team, I guess, gets to it with a TP. If the enemy team is destroying you this much in team fights and DP is not working out, and neither is Lycan, really, who's a hero that usually excels at picking off supports in team fights and then proceeds to take some towers with it. Now you're going to have to fight with the Aegis advantage, if anything, and like if you actually want to win the team fights, or you might have to consider other creative strategies, like perhaps literally doing Rat Dota, and split pushing best you can. And Samurai, oh. Interesting that he's going for a super urn there, Spirit Vessel. I'm a big fan of that on the Beastmaster, really shows weakness. Wow, and Death Prophet caught out, destroyed. Easy kill. There's no way she's surviving that, even with a Hooded Defiance. Shadow still has a life stealer inside of him. No Blink Dagger just yet, though, but you can initiate it with the ease of the Snowball. And that's a Death Run for God, so that's an easy team fight for them. Lena's just going to scout out. Get rid of that annoying creep. They probably saw him, actually. Or saw her, I suppose. 18 charges of the Bloodstone, though, makes her very, very lethal. That extra mana regen is ridiculous on her. I mean, she can just spam her spells to her heart's content, and that makes her really dangerous to fight against, because as long as she stays long away from the team fight, she will just always be useful. Has a ridiculous amount of regen. And can spam her spells to just do that, you know, to get the extra movement speed, because she does have that much mana regen with the Bloodstone. Especially with the new little int gain talents and whatnot, like, the intelligence heroes actually can have used the Bloodstone a bit more. Surprisingly enough. It's just a slower item, but they can totally abuse it. And with the 8.1 spell amplification, all of a sudden these spells that deal 310 damage, which is already a considerable amount, start dealing considerably more. I mean, the Lifestrike Array at the end of it should be able to deal around 400 damage, magical damage, which is a considerable amount for an area attack. I mean, that's Ravage, essentially, but with less area. And Burn, they missed the Lifestrike Array, which is very unfortunate. At least the Laguna Blade does destroy Kane. And Doggo will also disintegrate really, really quickly. One more hit. And goodbye, Doggo. Oh, Hand of God saves him! And they actually can't kill him. Doggo staying himself alive, but Doom will annoy the Death Prophet. Here comes the Primal Roar, stops Lina in her tracks. She can still do something as his Beastmaster. In fact, she's gonna just man-fight him. Lina cannot be stopped right now. Samurai trying his best, but Chobo is way too tanky and hurts way too much. In the bottom lanes, meanwhile, they're actually not wasting any time as Bottom of the Moon, start from the bottom, manages to take the tier 2, or at least damage it considerably. Death Prophet joins in. Lifestealer wants her blood. Actually goes for her straight up. Rage activated. She's going to be stunned out. Ice Shot as well to keep her in place. No exorcism to save her. And Rolv with his shapeshift does absolutely nothing as Lifestealer tears into him. He tries to kill the Shadow Shaman. Almost gets it. But the the Tusk. But the Infest will actually keep him alive for now as the Lifestealer becomes his bodyguard. Chobo almost dies to an Economicon creep. But luckily enough, both of them will be saved. And Chobo can just heal back up thanks to that Bloodstone. Not too worried about this wolf. Meanwhile, at Xantic, I'll keep on putting pressure into this lane and show that you can take this tier 3 tower if possible. While obviously the Rex are still exposed for this team. Meanwhile, on the top lane, we see a little TP. The Lina joins in and says, hey, no use waiting there for nothing. Let's go back up and try to be useful. And what is he going for right now, Mr. Chobo? I mean, that's a Blink Dagger for the Doom. Okay, that's interesting. Lincoln's for Chobo. Try to prevent that Primal Roar from occurring. I mean, Lincoln's pretty much took all of his, all of his HP last team fight. He didn't die, but, you know, if it was anything that happened to him, it was thanks to the Primal Roar. So once you get Lincoln, it's going to be really hard to cancel that. Especially because Beastmaster naturally has no ways to cancel Lincoln, so he's going to have to get an item for that, which is very unfortunate. And Solar Crest, let's not forget. Oh, he's definitely going for that build. He's super poor. I was talking about this earlier, sorry. Chobo, Laguna's Blade, already used, but he does have Lifestrike Array. And why would you walk towards him? Okay, they're quite confident. They want to sacrifice everything they have. Primal Roar as well. But Lina should still be able to survive this. Actually, I'm not so sure. Passing cast might not come in time. They do the Bloodstone. Cannot activate it. Now the Death Ward has to avenge his teammate Keelan. Will just suffer the damage of the Hex. Hey, they are coming in one by one. Now this one comes with this Lifestealer as an extra present. Burn was not expecting that. Now has to fight the Lifestealer alone. Cannot beat him. Burn only brought down as the Doom just walks away, just holding his life by the edges. However, he's able to survive. And the guys at start from the bottom are able to get 3 kills for the price of a Lina, which would not have been that bad if Lina committed suicide, honestly. Would have been nice. Oh, Rolly. Oh, the Laguna Blade actually might just deal. No, they did get him. Laguna Blade, just a shapeshift, damages too much, and Chobo tears through the Lycan like he was made out of paper. That Wolfie is not going to survive this Red Riding Hood. At least not tonight. Sep Partner Star, compañero. Esto es una partida de la Joint Dota League División 2. Disfruta. América. Sorry, like I said, little intermission so people understand what I'm casting. Oh, let's see. will be happening here. Shadow finds the hawk. There's nothing for it. Yeah, it does not seem like right now the guys that start from the bottom are too interested in, they're keeping the pressure, but they don't want to actually initiate, probably waiting for the next Roshan. And yeah, exactly. They just found it, like, okay, this Roshan seems ripe for the taking. They don't have an armlet, or sorry, a medallion, I'm mistaken. Yeah, no medallion yet on Witch Doctor. Went for a 4-step instead, but they do have a double damage and a Desolator, so that should be enough. The Wolves, however, do see them. So it's going to be a bit of a pickle, a bit of a difficult situation, I would say, for the guys that started from the bottom. For a variety of reasons. One of them being that they still have to fight in the pit against a Death Prophet Ultimate and a Power Roar. And against the so scary Hand of God. Oh no, 250 whole heal. No, I'm kidding. But the Power Roar and the Exorcism will still be able to do something. They also even have the Mass Serpent Wards. I mean, if there's a chance for the guys at Hellhounds to win, it probably would be around the Roshan pit. If not the high ground, but whereas the high ground, it's rather easy to escape as a Tusk, Lina, Lifestealer draft. They don't have many ways to actually keep you there except for the lucky Hex and Lifestealer and then kill him in the time that he comes back from the Hex. So it's rather difficult. They do have ways to keep him in the Roshan pit. Mainly the Roshan, right? So like if they wait till the Roshan is like maybe a quarter full, force him to fight there, force him to finish the Roshan at the same time as they fight. It would just not work out for them. So I think that would be a good choice for them if they wanted to do that. Actually, try to fight in the Roshan pit that way. I mean, they're definitely aware of this because this wolf sees them, right? So we'll see. G says J. Go J. Whatever you say. J. Please, actually go. I was kidding, but no? Alright. We'll wait here. See what... there it is. Fine. I'm pausing. Alright. See what's going to happen because I'm actually quite interested in this play. What do you do? Do you actually have the balls to go for this Roshan? I mean, it's going to fall really quickly. Probably not, actually. I don't think that's the answer. Now that I think about it, there's just no way they can fight this with a double damage Lifestealer, and they're aware of this. They don't have a smoke yet. Oh, they seem to be going in without a smoke, which is definitely a dangerous idea. They ran out of the Roche Pit. That was their chance. Now that they're out of the Roche Pit, their chance is gone. They might want to smoke up, perhaps, and like attack him from behind, if that was the idea. But that doesn't seem like it's such a wise choice either, unless you catch Adelina. And she has the Aegis anyway. And the Lincolns. So how do you really kill her? I'm not so sure. Oh, there's the Satyr Tormentor. He does go down. No chance there. What's behind them? A Beastmaster. I hope. Yeah, he just TPs. Okay, they all went in different directions for no reason other than style points. They do catch Doggo. Want to kill the Chen. Goodbye to the Hand of God. I said that mattered. They also find Samurai. Primal Roar does hit the Lifestealer at least, with Exorcism coming out. Thanks to the Crimson Guard, they're going to be quite safe about that. Samurai will not resist the Lifestealer Rage, who has double damage now, activates it just to hit really hard. And this Lifestealer hits like a truck, actually walks away from this Death Prophet. Why did you do that? Manages to kill her off anyway, goes into the Doom, and is safe from any further damage. All they have to do is make sure this Doom is safe as well. Scorched Earth to actually keep him alive. Lifestealer trying to armlet toggle the damage away. He stays alive for now, as Cho proceeds to push down these Rex. Very close by. Samurai comes in. No Primal Roar. And they catch him with Life Strike Array. Goodbye, Samurai. For a second time in a row. This poor man will not survive. Open wounds to heal up the Lifestealer. And that's 2 easy kills for him. As he still has his cheese intact. Adzantik is playing with fire here. The fire of his friendly Lina. And the only thing the enemy team is doing is manage to take this bottom Rex, but of course the expense of a Lycan, who's now died to a solo Doom, and that's going to be all for the... No! Rolf actually survives this barely. Jay has no more mana to actually cast any spells, and the Hand of God will save him. Jay ends up getting duped by the Lycan, but they don't care. They're going to go for all of it. They're going to go for the Makers if they can. The guys that started from the bottom are mad at this ratting Lycan that just killed their friend, and they want to show their vengeance by destroying everything they own. Their family, their friends, and most most importantly, their racks. Chobo, walking forward. Dogo hit by the snowball. Another dead Chen. Seems like a Laguna's Blade to get some more nice array. Some more fiery soul stack. Sorry, Chobo. Trying to run away now from Malika. That's quite mad. Not fast enough. The Aegis gets popped. And that's exactly what they were looking for. As they manage to stop the lean inner tracks once, can they do the same with the lifestealer? She does like cheese, goes for Burn, gets the kill. Burn will not have buyback this time. They can stop him. Actually, they can. Primal Roar. Lifestealer cannot TP back, and without the cheese, there's nothing you can do but infest a wolf. Last second infestation. They can't control him back to base. They try to panther him, but this wolf is just way too quick. He can still eat it and go back to the fight if they want to. Chobo trying to get those last set of racks to get the mini creeps. Rove really close to death. Last Mercury won't hit though. They don't have the Laguna's Blade just yet, but Rove's gonna attack just to the auto attacks. They have the test of faith, and they do save him. Samurai though will be the sacrificial lamb, giving some space out to this Beastmaster, or sorry, to this Lycan. But they will call the GG anyway. Even with Lycan alive, they just acknowledge it cannot save these racks. The mini creeps are imminent, and they're going to accept, starting from the bottom's domination. And with this, guys, we will be saying goodbye for a couple minutes as we wait for the game number 2. Let's not forget, it's the best of 3, so starting from the bottom still has Hellhounds still have a chance to win in the game number 2. At least put themselves even in terms of score. Great game started from the bottom, though. They actually managed to stop the push strat and play quite well. So, congratulations to them. My name has been DSwordfish. Hope you've enjoyed the cast. If you didn't enjoy the cast, feel free to... to check me out on Twitter at DSwordfish. I lost that for a second. And if you did not, feel free to tell me why. I'm always open to criticism. Right, I'm gonna go and join that second lobby. I'll see you guys shortly.